Okay, y'all. Here we go. All right. Man, I'm a little chilly today, man. There's a big temperature drop out here, so temperature drop like crazy, man. I don't understand it. And I can't, not a fan of the cold, man. I can't stand it. So bear with me here. All right, here we go. All right, so I am back. I am back to do my prediction. Kept y'all waiting long enough. I'm not gonna be on here too long either. This ain't gonna be like a long breakdown, but I'm just getting on here because I know y'all asked me for my prediction for this fight coming up tomorrow. So I said, let me go ahead and jump on here, do some quick keys to victory here for this fight, and how I think it'll go. And of course, I give you my prediction by the end of the video. So probably like 15, 20 minutes tops. Damn, what else we got? I got Canelo and Caleb playing too, so I'll probably try to drop my prediction right after this one. So yeah, man. Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili 2 for UFC 268. Of course, it's a rematch to their fight back in April 24th, and we all know how that fight went. We actually been talking about other things, that went on outside the octagon that lasted longer than the fight, right? That's what made it so crazy. The fight was just a portion, like not even a portion, just a little sprinkle of everything that was leading up to it. There was just so much talk about everything else. That's what makes this thing kind of interesting now, because there's tension going into this one. I was looking at Zhang Weili. She had some other things to say about Rose Namajunas, which I might talk about again, before fight night. But I just came across it just as I was uploading my just scheduling this little live. I just saw something with Zhang pop up, and they were talking about she was talking about some other things, like how she felt Rose was a hypocrite. So, but that's something else. We're gonna talk about the fight now, right? All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Spunky said, I thought Rose had more reach than that. No, ask the UFC. That's what they posted. That's what the UFC posted is her reach 65. I mean, I didn't expect it to be that much longer. She's only 5'5". She looks long, but give or take, right? Maybe it's like 66, 67, maybe. But, that's what they listed as on Taylor the Tape. So, all right. So going into this fight here, we know how the first one went. Not much has changed, as far as the skill sets for these fighters and what I've seen and how it could play out. As far as keys to victory for Rose, if you haven't seen the first video I did, back in March, April, for Rose going into this fight, I don't think she really needs to change a great deal. I think that if her mindset is the same, she'll know how to jump right into the groove of this type of fight with her type of style. Rose is known heavily as a striker amongst, even the casual fans, even the Rose fans. They just really see the striking. But, there's other levels to it, right? Once it gets rough on I won't say rough on the inside, but once the fight kind of changes from fighters trying to strike with her, she will start to try to go for takedowns here and there. She's done that with Jessica Andrade. She will try to shoot for takedowns in this fight. But going into this one, I think that right away, Rose is going to have to do what she did the first fight. Set the pace with her feet. Set the pace with the footwork in the center of the octagon. Just kind of establish a rhythm that throws the challenger off. Footwork is very important for her style. So being that that's key to her fights with Joanna, Jessica Andrade, keeping that pace, setting that rhythm early is very important. Especially throwing off a fighter like Zhang Weili that might want to start striking with her. She might want to go ahead and start setting that pace with the footwork. Keeping Zhang guessing. Next, keep the strikes long and straight. Rose, same as last time. just setting the pace from a distance, throwing those straight jabs down the pipe, the right hands, same as she done with the shorter fighters that like to get in the pocket, like Jessica Andrade, you know. And next, I'll say, after, you know, footwork, straight strikes, I think for Rose, she has to avoid clinches. You know, she has to avoid the pocket. You know, she's one of those fighters that sometimes, I'll hold off on this next key. But, you know, I think Rose has to avoid that pocket because she's never really, to me, throughout the years, shown that she's like a physically strong type of fighter. You know, some people are going to disagree, but you don't really see that type of strength in Rose like these other strawweights have shown in the past, like the Joannas, Tatiana Suarez, you know, those naturally rugged fighters, you know, that they can counter those wrestler strengths, you know, like Tatiana Suarez being bigger than Carla Esparza, you know, she could ragdoll her. Joanna, she could survive those slams from Jessica Andrade. I don't think that Rose is really that type of fighter. So, you know, it has to be on her to avoid any type of pocket fighting, or, you know, avoid the phone booth at all costs. I mean, she's showing what happened the last time out, right? Whenever she tried to trade and bang, when they told her to bang with Andrade, right? Big mistake. Very big mistake. First fight with Jessica Andrade. Started to go stationary too much. And then what happened? You know, got lifted up. Boom. In the story. So she's not really one to, I don't think, to have that type of scramble like Joanna and, you know, make herself heavy and put that type of strong foundation on her, you know, even like her training partner, you know, fighter that she trained with, another champion, Valentina Shevchenko. You know, she just doesn't set that type of, bar when it comes down to, you know, facing these wrestlers, to me. So those are some basic keys for Rose, I'd say, you know, setting the pace with the footwork, you know, keep the strikes long and straight, you know, and avoid pocket fighting, you know, keep it in the center long, and just avoiding the dogfight at all costs, right? So, yeah, moving to Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili this time. Well, let me go back to Rose real quick. For Rose, the last thing I'll say about her is, you know, she has to be prepared. Be prepared for a distance fight, a rough, rugged distance fight this time, you know. And by that, I mean, you can't be coming in just being a 2-round fighter this time. You know, you can't go in here being a 2-round, 3-round fighter. You have to be focused for the long haul. You know, unless she knows something. Once again, I mean, they say they have 10 ways to beat Zhang Weili. That's yet to be seen, you know. So I'll have to say that she just needs to be focused. You know, she has to be focused for the long haul this time, because I don't think Zhang Weili is going to fall for the same tricks going into this fight. You know, she's not going to spend time on the outside. They studied that. You know, I think Henry Cejudo's embedded it in her mind, and you know, made it known that, look, you can't strike with a long striker. You know, which is definitely a key to victory for Zhang Weili. So going into Zhang Weili's key to victories, number one, don't strike with the striker. Like, she's gotten comfortable spending time on the outside with some of these long strikers like Rose and Joanna, you know, trying to kind of pick shots with them from a distance. And as you can see, it cost her the fight last time. You know, last time she started to set a good pace with her inside leg kicks, right? She was, you know, tagging the inner leg of Rose. You know, people feel she was winning the round, but, you know, that was still, you know, it's still hard to say. Like, yeah, okay, you were starting to pick up the pace in the round. You were starting to dictate the pace a little bit, but can't really say you were winning, right? Because it only lasted a minute, and we saw what happened. So for Zhang Weili, no striking from the outside. Like, you really have to commit to, like Henry Cejudo said, fighting on the inside. You know, get those strikes off in the pocket and at a mid-range. Because, again, when you're on the outside, you're going to taste the power of Rose, for those fully extended punches. Tall, long, lanky strikers, they get their full advantage of their power once they turn that full shot over. You know what I mean? When they turn that full shot over, boom. Same with the leg kicks you see, right? So avoid striking from the outside. Next is the complete opposite. Go fight at the mid-range, fight in the pocket, like Henry Cejudo was saying. You have to be on the inside here. You have to do like Andrade. They played the tapes. You have to be the fighter that is in Rose's chest. I don't think she can deal with that type of pressure. That type of pressure that's educated pressure, that educated violence you put on. That's the type of pace that I think can make Rose's focus break. Joanna gave her space in the first fight. Joanna gave her space in the second fight. That's why she was able to play chess. But if you don't give her room to play chess, it's a very frustrating thing for her. Once you start going to her body and start chopping the leg down early, it can kind of take her out of her mind game. It takes her out of her mind frame. That's whenever Pat Barry is going to start yelling. That's whenever the whole team is going to really start coming down on her. So I think inside fighting is very important for Zhang Weili from the jump. You have to take her out of that. Boxer pace and boxer rhythm. I see y'all are commenting here, but I'll go back and read some of these comments when I drop these keys here real quick. Let's see. Another thing I was kind of looking at too for Zhang Weili, I say would be a key to victory, is to kind of alternate her low kicks. Kind of do like a switch thing. Make sure she can go from the outside of the lead leg to the inside. Here and there, kind of switch. So every now and then it can open up a body kick. So I say alternate low kicks in this fight. Alternate those low kicks. So it kind of doubles the pressure on Rose and doubles the damage. It slows her down faster. You can slow her down by the second and third round. What else? Dogfight. Same thing. I say in my last breakdown prediction for the first fight, Zhang Weili, she's got to make this a dogfight. It's got to be rough and rugged. You can't really spend any time on the outside. Like I said, no chest. It's got to be a dogfight. And I don't mean exhaust yourself from the first round, but take the first couple rounds just to smother the pressure. Will smother the offense of Rose, and spend those first couple rounds, even if they are boring, just getting clinch control. Clinch control is important. I mean, if Rose is not striking or moving or dictating the pace, or she's not jabbing or landing, that's a good thing. I mean, if you can pin her to the cage and work on the inside at a slow pace, that'll benefit her. I mean, a lot of people don't understand, like, fighting on the inside at times, that's a time to rest. Like, spending time on the outside can break focus. Not break focus. It takes more focus. Spending time on the outside because you're bouncing, you're moving, you're worried about shots coming. You gotta be quick with your reflexes more so because you're waiting. Sometimes you anticipate, which you're not supposed to do, right? You're kind of waiting on your opponent, and you're using that gas. But when you're on the inside and you know how to position your body in certain clinches, that's where you can, take your time to breathe, at the same time steal around here and there. So early on, don't worry about an action fight. Just go in there and, clinch up, make it a dog fight, make it rough, take it into deep waters. I think Rose, after the second or third round, that's whenever somebody else made this point. I was thinking the same thing, that's when the fight really, really starts to go in the challenger's favor. So with that, like I said, my keys, they haven't really changed much from the last time out because, we didn't see much go down the first time. I mean, the very final thing I will say for both fighters, for Rose, well, not for Rose, but for Zhang Weili, is is defense. Defense is very important. That's something that these up and coming champions have to understand. Like, when you go back and look at all these fights, all the performances of Valentina Shevchenko, whether fans start booing, she stays committed to it. So for Zhang Weili, defense is not a bad thing. Booing is not a bad thing. That just means that you're doing something right for yourself, but the fans may not agree, right? So you have to worry about defense. Defense is very important to becoming a dominant champion. And how you going to win this fight? Stop trying to put on fight of the night. That's what I was thinking the first time Zhang Weili was spending time on the outside trying to prove that she could bang, and that's not how it goes if you want to be a long-time reigning champion. Taking punches takes years off your career and takes away your belt, as you can see, right? But yeah, again, for going back to Rose, yeah, I think her major key is the fact that she's got to be more than a 3-round fighter. We've seen, like, when she gets into that midpoint of a fight where she starts to kind of get a little too comfortable, and she starts to just go through the motions, starts to go a little stationary. The second Joanna fight was one of those fights where I was going back and looking. I said, she was winning the fight. I had it 3 rounds to 2, but there were moments where she slowed down where I was like, oh man, if this person across from her decides to dog it out, or just a more physically strong fighter, going into the Andrade fight, when I watched that back to back, I was like, oh, she can be broken, So focus for Rose, and man, major thing for Zhang Weili is defense, So with that, how I see it playing out, I don't see it ending quick. I don't see this thing being a first round finish, because I think that, fighters, they learn their lesson. Fighters that get knocked out, they do learn their lesson the second time or so around. And usually I think that the person that did score the knockout, they don't expect it to come as quick the second time or third time. They know that their opponent has probably came up with some new game plans, new strategies, new team in the corner of Zhang Weili. So I don't see it being like a fight where it ends that quick this time. You're going to see Zhang Weili. In this fight, I think you're going to see Zhang Weili a lot smarter with her head movement, her feints, and trying to be. She's not going to fight behind Rose. She's not going to fall for those tricks. I think this time around, Zhang Weili is going to try to pressure early, but be smart with it and use that wrestling early. You're going to see some rounds where she tries to go for those takedowns, and she's going to score a couple, But at the same time, you can't count Rose out when you get down to the ground. That's what makes this fight tough, man. Like, if somebody doesn't get stopped, there's always going to be that submission threat from either fighter here, I think if it goes into the second round, you're still going to see a sharp Rose that's going to land, that's going to try to pot shot. And at times you might see Zhang a little gunshot the first couple rounds, until I think Henry Cejudo puts it in her head that, look, you have to start taking chances. This is going to be that fight where we see if she is gun shy, if that first round knockout did affect her, or if you're going to see her coming out for blood this time around, right? That's going to be another question to this fight. But I think once it gets into the third round and she gets into a groove, you're going to see Zhang Weili start to close that distance, start taking away the legs, gassing Rose down. Oh, man, I'm just kind of looking at some footage right now, and it gets tough, man. It gets tough to make this call. But if I had to say, I think it's going to go down to probably like the 4th, 5th round. Both fighters you're going to see damage this time. There's going to be some close moments. But I think eventually, Zhang Weili is going to get what she wants this time. I'm not one to just jump ship from my last pick and just say, oh, first round knockout, Rose going to get it again. I don't think it really works that way, because I still think that Zhang Weili has those tools. I believe in those tools. Like the tools I've seen that she had, I think she can pull it off. So with that being said, I think Zhang Weili's going to pull out a decision this time, or if not, maybe a stoppage in the 4th or 5th round. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think if she can get past that striking of Rose, and she can channel her Andrade in this fight, which is crazy because she stopped Andrade, right? But there's some things that Andrade has that's good. There's some things that Zhang Weili has good. I think you have to go back and look at each fighter here and kind of be a chameleon sometime. I think if she can channel what Andrade had in certain moments and take this fight into the trenches, I can see her winning this one. Disagree, agree, I don't really care. That's my pick. I got to go with Zhang Weili, like by a decision or maybe late round stoppage in this one. Because I think when she gets by those first couple of rounds of sharp striking and starts, taking this thing into the phone booth, gets to show that strength, I think she can do it. I think she can do it. Like I said, not much has changed from last time, I don't think. And I think if she can get by and keep her hands up here and fight her fight, it can go in the favor that I think it was going to go back in April. So not going to jump ship on my pick here. I'm still sticking with it, even if this is a new fight. So yeah, what do y'all think? Like I said, I was going to be on 15-20 minutes. Just wanted to do a discussion here. Let's read some comments here just for a second, because I got to jump back on and do Caleb and with Canelo and Caleb here. Let's see, Marcus, what's going on? Yeah, Spunky Monkey. Like I said, that's probably the reach that, UFC is measured out. 60, 65, yeah. Give or take. He said, my only question is, when has Weili ever looked bad as Rose did against the rematch with Andrade in a 3-round fight? Well, styles make fights. I don't think she ever looked that bad. I mean, her one fight, we could say, where she didn't look her best was the Joanna fight, because that was so much going on in that fight. Too much trading, too many violent exchanges, which, we never know if it could have taken a little something out of her. But that was probably her only fight where it showed like she gets hit by long strikers because she chooses to stay on the outside, where she should be in the pocket the majority of the fight. She's that type of fighter with that athleticism and conditioning. You got to be on the inside, pressing that pace, body work. And another thing I'll say, Weili, straight shots are okay. Jabs are okay if you can lure somebody in and you can set up, if you're using the jab to set up takedowns. But Zhang Weili at least needs to throw hooks more, throw hooks more on the inside. Because, if you look at her arms and her frame, hooks are good for those type of fighters. Hooks and uppercuts. Lolita, what's up? She said 2.0, new and improved. Yeah. Bruno said, what do you think Zhang Weili 2.0 means? Yeah, it just basically means a fighter's improved. They think that this is a newer version of them. An upgraded version. When you got, it's like apps, right? If you got a new app, they usually call it 2.0 or 5.0 or something, right? Ulysses said, one more sleep. Yeah, one more. Bruno said, will Weili have better head movement coming to this fight? She's got to. Will she? It depends on, what Henry Cejudo's been showing her on how to get on the inside. But I think the more and more they play that back and even play back the Joanna fight, they'll probably will work on head movement. Yeah, if you're going to be on the inside, yeah, head movement is key. And just about every single fight, if you look, her lead leg, Rose's lead leg is there to be hit. Though, we do give Rose a lot of credit for boxing, which I do. I think she is one of the better boxers in between this division and the flyweight division. She does get hit. It's not like her defense is immaculate. You know what I mean? Like, her defense isn't the greatest because she does get hit. She does get hit. I think a lot of her fundamentals that she brings over to boxing is what some of these WMMA fighters are used to. You know, these strawweights aren't used to. That's why she can get away with a lot of the distance that she's keeping, you know, on these fighters, because it's still alien to some of these fighters. You know, some of them that she's facing, they don't know how to handle that type of footwork. But if you are like a Andrade, you won't really think of it. You just wanna attack. It can cost you a fight, but your mind frame is more so like, forget this, you know, I'm not respecting, I'm just going straight after. But the thing about Rose is, like I said, those fundamentals she brings in from boxing, they are superior to a lot of these strawweights. But if you really want to break it down, like comparing it to real boxers, like she does get hit a lot. She is hittable. You know, her body's there to be hit. You know, her legs are there to be hit. Her chin is there. So it can be done. Like the right head movement, right approach, you know, head movement and mid-range, Zhang Weili can, you know, still score some big punches here. Daniel H said Weili needs that Buena Silva high guard, but actually counter and get those takedowns. Right, that shootbox style kind of thing, yeah. Brian Williams said the problem with Weili is that she's vain. She wants to outclass her opponents to look good doing it. I watched all UFC fights yesterday, and you can see it. I don't get that really. I'd say, you know, Valentina does, and it works for her. You know, Valentina's the one that wants to look good and do it. But if you look at this, I mean, if you look at the Joanna fight, I don't think so. Like, she fought the wrong fight there. Like, she wasn't outclassing her opponent. Like, she chose to make a fight of the night type of thing, you know. I get more of a rugged, rough vibe from her, like where she's, you know, more so letting her guard down for just exciting fights at times, you know. I don't think she's really mastered that type. Because if you want to outclass your opponent and look good doing it, I think you're trying to be more dominant, and that's a good thing. But she's never really came off to me as somebody that is vain like that, you know, because, again, when you go to the Joanna fight, she would have made the right adjustments if she wanted to look good doing it, but that was a rough and ugly fight. You know, she was no way, like, fully ahead or outclassing Joanna or looking good doing it. It was more of one of those bangers, you know. Even when you go back and look at, like I said, we like the Tisha Torres fight, there was a lot of close moments there. But when it came down to it, it was just really rough. And, like, we got to get the win by any means necessary, you know. So, yeah, I'm about to get off here in a minute. Robot Chicken said Rose got a flash KO. Now she's the greatest. And I see Jean going all out, never giving up fights, the opposite of Rose. Bruno said, I saw Andrade Rose 2 yesterday, and her head movement was key to stay in the pocket and find openings. Yeah. Andrade's head movement was new at the time. You know, she wasn't really using it before, but it worked. Like, when she started taking her head off the line, the jab wasn't hitting her as much, right? So, head movement is key. Let's see, a lot of comments in here, so I'm just kind of scanning through. Esoteric Inc. said Weili's match is the one that I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Emmy said Rose has the mental advantage and skill to win this fight. Knowledge on Roses said I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'm too excited for this fight. Yeah. Mark Robinson said, thinking about the possible outcomes, I think Rodriguez will end up fighting down. All this Rose Weili might lead to trilogy. Carla, Weili, Joanna stuff. Yeah. Which wouldn't be a bad thing for Marina. I mean, you know, kind of let them battle it out. Let those fighters take years off their career a little bit, you know, start to let them wear down. And that's when Marina makes her strike, right? Emmy, what's up? Emmy said, go and check the Weili versus Rose live stream. Steel Wolves are definitely looking forward to see this fight go to the ground. Yeah, I want to see something different this time. I want to see a fight where you're getting a little bit of action from the stand up and the ground. I really do want to see what they look like in the clinch together. I want to see what type of pace. I want to see what type of pace Zhang Weili can set, and then I want to see how Rhodes handles it. But yeah, the fight is still very, very close to me. Even with the knockout, like it kind of goes back and forth from. It's still 50-50, but at times, of course, the scale is going to go towards Rose. You still have to give that person the mental edge, especially when they get to win the fashion they did and how they did it leading up to the fight. It still continues to scale. That scale keeps on like tipping, like in Rose's favor. So it's 50-50. I mean, anything can happen. Like I said, I'm open to anything. I'm just making my pick off of what I've seen and what I think can be done. But yeah, Rose is slippery on the ground. Don't be surprised if you see a submission from her, So, don't let it crush you. You know what I mean? Like, get so invested in it where you be like, oh, man, this wasn't supposed to happen. Anything can happen in a fight, There's some fights where I was like, oh, wow, that really are upsets. But when you're looking at a fight where the best fight the best, your mind has to be open to say, hey, look, this is the game. It always comes down to. That's why when I watched the first fight, well, I mean, even before, the first fight, I was like, before all this crazy political stuff went down, and all of that, I was just like, may the best fighter win when it comes down to it, TG Hayes said, I don't think Rose has the mental edge. I just don't. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't underestimate anybody. Whether you're not a fan of them or not, you have to know your enemy. Nobody says you have to love your enemy, but you have to know your enemy and respect your enemy. And, if you're not a fan of a person, you have to keep the open mind to say, hey, this person, they got it. They got the weapons. They got the artillery over there. What type of declaration of war do they have? You know what I mean? So it's like you have to respect everything they do. I mean, that's how you get better than somebody. That's how you counter that attack and get better. That's why I say Rose, she might have the mental edge in this fight. She's got the win. She's got the backing right now. She's got the tools that she's shown in the first fight. So now it's up to Zhang Weili to break that barrier and say, and also she has the belt. So it's on Zhang Weili now to say, I have something more this time to offer. I got it this time. Because right now, mental edge champ is all Rose. So it's time to prove people wrong. It's just like going back to the Fury Wilder fight. I picked Wilder to win. I thought, he had the team to come back and get him in there. But, Fury had that mental edge. That's another thing, again, where you always have to study your opponent. You have to study. You have to study. You have to study. You just have to say, why is this person better than me? There has to be a time when you say that because they bested you. They bested you. You have to say, what made them better? I need that. I got to get that. And then I got to make it work for me. Very, very important. Man, it's cool. Lolia said, what about Usman Covington? I got Usman winning the fight. I don't think it's going to be as competitive as this one. I think this fight means a lot more. I like this fight is, I think these two have more to offer right now. I think Covington is kind of damaged a little bit. That's just my opinion. I mean, he's tough now. Don't get me wrong, but I still lean towards Usman in that fight. I think it's going to end in a finish again. I think just Usman is a hell of a lot stronger. He's the stronger fighter all around. better, efficient striker, so I can't pick against me. I think it's going to be a good fight, though. For sure. Bruno said we never got to see what new tools Weili had in the first match. Now it's the second one. She probably has even more tools. Yeah. I mean, that's a part of it. That's a big part of it. This would probably be a good thing if she polishes those tools up. Or, the new tools that she's added to her game, it could be a good thing. Bruno said, knowing Zhang new coaches, what new skills do you think she will bring to the fight? I think she's going to bring more feints, I think she's going to bring a better approach at getting her takedowns now. I'm sure like Henry Cejudo's probably looked at some of her past fights and, some of her past approaches to takedowns, and maybe he's been helping her polish those up. So it's going to come down to, just little technical changes like that, he's probably made for her, making the jab work for her to get on the inside better. Emmy said when it comes to technique versus brawler, the technician wins most of the time, right? Yeah, if the technician can keep the focus, yeah, if the technician can keep the focus, yeah, like, like even going back to Joanna versus Andrade, if you can keep that type of technique going for you for 5 rounds, yeah. But you go back and look at, I picked Rose to beat Andrade the first time, and she was keeping that technique going, right? She had the superior technique, but I think it comes down to, off top, you would say technician versus brawler wins, but I think it comes down to commitment, because a relentless brawler, a relentless one-dimensional brawler will beat a technician that's not focused all day, right? That's what it's going to come down to, Rose hasn't proved to be that steady, consistent technician in every fight, whereas, again, Valentina's always been that technician throughout all of her fights. So I say a brawler with a mission, and never changes. They beat the technician that is kind of iffy with their focus. You see that time and time again. And he said, "Did you see how bigger Rose was in the first fight against Weili?" Yeah, bigger than Andrade too, but bigger, but I don't really think size is really gonna play a big factor in these fights. First fight, it didn't really play a factor. It was just the fact that her, it was more the length. It wasn't like her size was something that was gonna be able to overpower Weili in these cases, right? Yeah. But yeah, I just look at all. Like I said, I'm just looking at all possibilities, and it just kind of leads me back to I was thinking in April. If she gets past that type of striking, and she can break that focus and stay relentless, that's my point. Like, if Zhang Weili, even though she's not as superior in these certain categories, I could still see her winning. Though I could still see her winning, like, because she had that focus in the first fight. It was just broken. It wasn't broken. It was just, she was just stopped, right? Her focus was never broken. She was stopped just like that. But if she comes back with that same focus and challenges Rose, and we've seen Rose, I mean, time and time again, sometimes where she just won't be in it for that long haul. Like, even Joanna does. Joanna stays in the fight. Her focus never breaks. I mean, she's been stopped, of course, but I mean, her actual mental focus never changes. Well, Emmy, she has power. I'll say she has. I've said this in some other videos. I'm sure you've seen it, but I think she has precision punching. Precision punching. She knows how to hit that sweep spot, and that's something that she earned just throughout the years now because of her title boxing. With her team, Trevor Whitman, and so on, right? Like, she's never really had power. Like, how many people has she knocked out in the beginning of her career? How many people has she knocked out now? Just 2 people, right? If you look at it, follow boxing, Terrence Crawford, he's got he's got pop, but his knockouts come from precision punching. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just full on concussive punching. Like, she doesn't have one hitter quitter power. She doesn't have the equalizer. She depends on accuracy. If you go back and look at the Andrade fight, the rematch, why didn't she get that knockout? Because Andrade saw a lot of the punches coming now. She was throwing accurate punches, but Andrade could see everything coming when she had her stationary, right? So this technician has precision punching, but not like full-on concussive power. How many people has she knocked out? Before Weili, it was just one, right? It was like, what, 1, 2 people? She never knocked. She could knock out Tisha Torres. She submitted Michelle Waterson from a nice accurate kick to the well, she got her down with a nice accurate kick, and then she submitted her. But when it comes down to knocking people out, like, how many people has she really, really, really knocked out off of the power? Like, she don't have like Macy Barber power. She's got better skills than Macy Barber, but it's not like power. It's precision punching. And once you take precision punching away, they're still good punches. They still do damage, but when the fighter sees them coming, they're not as threatening. That's what I always say about her. Even when I was watching how she was coming along, developing throughout the years, I say, "Oh, Rose got better with her striking. She's becoming a precision striker." But it never really dawned on me like she was a concussive puncher. You know what I mean? But the thing about her was the fact that she knows how to turn them over, and when she plays chess, she can score a knockout because she's hitting you with a precise punch on that sweet spot, or she's throwing a nice precise kick, thanks to her taekwondo and boxing. So yeah, her power comes from accurate punches, accurate, strong strength, turning them over. But it's not like that guy giving power that these fighters, like I said, Macy and Andrade have. He says Weili the same after the Joanna fight. Joanna has not fought in a long time. Is Weili the same? I don't know. We'll see. I've heard Joanna say she's heard word that she's not, but I mean, hey, that's yet to be seen. We'll see how the chin holds up in the fight. I mean, like I said, wars like that can take years off you, but she's only really had that one war, so we'll see. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. That's my pick, though. Like I said, still going with Weili this time around. I think she can win, probably, like I said, late stoppage or decision. But it's going to be another good fight. I don't see just the way these two fighters are going to be. I don't see anybody coming out clean, again, like the first fight. I see some lumps on fighters in this one. And I'm just looking forward to a good fight now. That's about it. So yeah, if y'all haven't subscribed, some of y'all that are coming in, make sure y'all subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate that. And yeah, I am ready Knowledge on Rose said, I think Weili just needs to connect a couple of body shots to make Rose doubt herself. It's hard for me to believe that Rose can handle Zhang's power for more than 2 to 3 rounds. That's my point. Yeah, like once she can get past, once she can close in and she can get past the outside work, what's the reaction to, you know, those hard body punches? And that's why I hope Henry Cejudo they worked on. Like, you just don't want to keep on trying to dive in and do a little fighting in the phone booth. That's why I say, like, channel your Andrade. You know, Andrade doesn't necessarily do a lot of bad things. Like, she does some effective things, and I think with them having this similar build and both having that speedy style, she's the more technical version of Andrade, right? So she, hey, take some of her moves, take some of her stuff, you know. This is a fight game, you know. You got to take them. Today said Weili traumatized Joanna with her power. Yeah, Joanna's been out for a minute now. I don't know, like that. If not traumatized, maybe she did a little damage. You know, she's probably done a little bit of damage to her, and Joanna, you know, might have some other things going on, like not just business, but you know, Joanna might be kind of having to take the time off because some damage was done to that head. You know, so. I have no problem with Joanna taking that time off. I just want her to take it out of the rankings. You know what I mean? Like, while everybody else is doing their thing. So, yeah, if something like medically was going on with Joanna, hey, that's the fight game. I understand. Like, no rush back. Just, you know, don't need to be in the rankings. Bruno said if Weili can prove she can stay in the pocket, Rose won't last longer than 4. Yeah, pocket, physical fighting. You know, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, you know, she was able to kind of sting Rose to the body. I want to see what type of, you know, changes have been made here, really, you know, on both sides. You know, some people think Rose getting jacked is going to help her strength. Maybe, you know, or will it slow her down? Will the muscle slow her down? We'll see. Yeah, anything is possible in me. I brought that up in my live stream the other day, you know. I said, you know, if, you know, Weili has to be careful going in for some of those takedowns. Cause I said, beware the flying knee. You know what I mean? Beware of a flying knee or beware a knee up the middle. So, you know, everything has to be educated. But, you know, that's what I say. It's a fight game. Anything possible on both sides. Knowledge on Rose said, Joanna, they never be the same. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see her going on no title run again. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I can see Joanna getting gold again. Rose doesn't like that. I doubt it, unless she trained to do that. She did try for some wild shots in that Andrade fight. Did she try for like a flying knee or something in that one fight? Like trying to catch Andrade coming in? She did. But yeah, I was on here a little bit longer again, just doing a discussion on the side here. But yeah, like I said, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Let me get out of here. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. And if you're catching this live later, just put your pick in the comment section. That's all. You know, just let me know your pick. You know, no more disses. Let's get this fight going. Who you got, Rose or Weili, this time around? I don't want to advise betting on this fight. You know, some people wanted to bet on Weili last time. I picked Weili, but I was like, I'm not confident in the bet. You know, some of these 50-50 fights I'm not betting on. So I'm just for entertainment, yo. So yeah, y'all, let me get up out of here like always. Combo Breaker 99. I'll catch y'all after fight night for this one. For boxing fans, I'll be back on for Canelo and Caleb in a minute. So make sure y'all subscribe. Peace.